Yo, are you trying to figure out how to meditate and why you should even start doing it? Well, watch this video to find out.
For the rugged. Been a little too nice to y'all. Now I gotta up price for y'all. Snake eyes on dice for y'all. Shoulders on ice for y'all.
Welcome to the channel. My name is Miguel, and on this channel, I like to talk about all sorts of things self-development and business related. And on this particular video, I'm going to be talking about meditation. So, if you don't know what meditation is, it does not have to be, although if you look that stuff up, it is known to help. But if you don't really want to do that, you're just getting into it, or you're trying to figure out how you can start to do it more consistently, or why you should even do it, then this video is going to answer those questions for you. So first off, why should you even be doing meditation? So if you're not sure why you should be doing meditation, it's actually pretty simple. Meditating in and of itself creates a significant peace of mind. Where a lot of people get confused is that they think meditating in and of itself is supposed to shut off your mind. But in reality, it is about having control over this thing. Our brains tend to go wild. They are always thinking about different sorts of things, and they're always, it seems like a lot of people describe their brains as moving at 1,000,000 miles per minute, not having control over it. It's almost like one of those cartoon scenes where someone starts a lawnmower and it's going so fast and they're sort of just like hanging on to it and it's pulling them all over the lawn. That is how a lot of people see their minds. So meditation gives you a complete grasp over your brain, because when you're meditating, the concept of it, I'm gonna explain how you should be thinking about meditating. There's obviously different forms, but how you should be thinking of it much more in depth in a little bit. The way that you're going to be meditating is basically whenever a thought comes up, you bring it back to the breath. So you're essentially training your mind to, every single time a thought comes up, you decide to not pay that thought any attention and bring it back to what it is that you want to focus on. So think of it like doing reps in the gym. Every single time you do a rep and you set the weight down, your muscle becomes a little bit stronger over time, and then you're able to do that weight even longer, or you're able to do even more weight. It is the same thing with your brain. You're essentially letting thoughts come in, and then you're bringing your awareness to where you would like to place it. This is how you take control of your mind, through the use of meditation. The other benefit there is to meditation is having a detachment from your thoughts. So a big source of unhappiness for a lot of people is that they have a complete identification with what is going on inside of their brain. They have no idea that you don't really have that much control over what goes on up here. You may think you have control, because when you decide to have conscious thought, you are placing your thoughts in the areas that you would like them to be. But if you notice, when you're not actually consciously placing your thought on something, meaning you're not like, okay, let me pick this up, or let me formulate this sentence. If you're not having those conscious thoughts, then your brain just goes into autopilot and it just starts doing whatever it wants. It starts having whatever thoughts it wants to have. So what meditation does is the same thing is going to happen. Your brain is going to go in autopilot, and you're gonna be sitting there and you're gonna be like, I wonder if I left the stove off. I wonder what I have to do tomorrow. Like, these thoughts are going to still pop up inside of your head. The idea of meditation is not to completely stop your thoughts. The only way to actually do that is to literally be Eckhart Tolle, or to go brain dead. So we are not going to stop our thoughts. Instead, we are going to bring awareness there. If you notice, whenever you have a thought, there is another form of awareness that is aware that you are thinking. You are going to bring yourself there. You are not your thoughts. You are the person aware that you are thinking. If you're Alan Watts, if you listen to Alan Watts, he would say, well, who's the person who's aware that you're thinking? But we're not going to get that meta right now. We're just going to leave it at that simple point. You are not your thoughts. You are the person who is aware aware that you are thinking. Now that you know that you aren't supposed to identify with your thoughts, that is going to translate everywhere else into your life, because when you meditate, when you have thoughts, you do not judge the thoughts as they come in. Instead, you just pay attention to it like you're on the side of a very busy freeway. Every single car that's passing is a thought. And instead of you judging all of the cars that pass by, why do so many cars pass by this street? Instead of that, you are sitting down on the side of the road, just watching the cars as they pass by. No judgment for any car's color. No judgment for how fast or how slow the cars move. You are just awareness. You were just there to watch the cars pass by, the cars being your thoughts. So that is the way that you want to think about meditation. That is how you want to approach it. When you approach it in this way, it is much easier to get into meditation because there's a lot less judgment there. Now, how do you start to get into meditation and make it a consistent practice? Well, if you have watched any of my content, you know one of my favorite books is The Power of Habit. The reason for this book being one of my favorites is because it literally talks about how to form positive habits in your life that last a lifetime. And one of the main points that he gives inside of this book is that you want to start off slow. You basically, with meditation, I even did this before I read this book actually, was you want to start off very little, but you just want to be consistent. So at first, right after I woke up, I would meditate for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, a very short amount of time. The whole point is that I just did it. It's the same thing with like just going to the gym. You want to make a habit of just going there. Whether or not you exercise does not matter if you have not built the habit of going to the gym. We're going to do this with meditation. Your whole point, if you're just starting out, is you just want to sit there for, at the very least, sit there for a minute and do that consistently for a set amount of time. If you cannot make it through an entire week of sitting still and focusing on your breath for a minute, then you are going to do it for 3 days out of the week. Hell, even 1 day out of the week. Make a commitment that every single Sunday you sit down for a minute and focus on your breath and meditate. That is how you want to do it, and you want to slowly bump it up. So if you're only doing it for a minute every Sunday, maybe bump it up to every Sunday and Wednesday. And then maybe bump up the time to, instead of 1 minute, doing 2 minutes. And just slowly ramp it up every single time you feel comfortable and every time you know that you can keep the commitment. And if at any point you're like, damn, this is actually starting to get hard, just bring it back to what you were doing before. Do that for like a week and then slowly bump it up to halfway of what you bumped it up to last time. The goal is progression, very slow progression to the habits that you have as your goal. And what should your habit be in terms of meditation? Well, there aren't any set rules, but a good place you can find yourself at is at least 20 minutes a day. If you can sit down for 20 minutes a day focusing on your breath, I noticed in my life that you can see a lot of positive benefits. And there's been points where I would do 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes in the late afternoon, and I would see a lot of benefits from that as well. But it's a lot harder to do that sometimes because things are happening, you're going all over the place, the world is busy, but you can see a lot of benefits from doing it twice a day. But at the very least, a goal for yourself that you can set for yourself is making it to 20 minutes a day. Now, how do you meditate? I've basically been talking about this throughout the video, alluding to it at the very least, but meditation practice is actually very simple. What are you supposed to be doing? The idea is to sit down in a comfortable place where your spine is erect. What I like to do is my bed is up against a wall, sort of how I'm up against a wall right now. I'll sit down with my legs, well, I can't actually cross my legs because I'm not flexible enough, but my legs are down and my feet are touching each other, if that makes sense. So my feet are like this, like exactly how my arms are right now. This is how I have my legs. My back is all the way up against the wall, head up against the wall, so my spine is basically straight. Puts me in an alert position. So that is the position you want to be in. You can also sit in a regular chair with your feet directly planted on the ground. But biggest thing that you want is you want your spine to be erect and you want to put yourself in an alert position. Those are the two positions that I like to take. And after that, after you find yourself in that comfortable position, you can also have your legs straight if you decide to do the bed thing. After I find myself in that comfortable position, I will put my hands on both of my knees. You can also look up, I forgot what they're called, but they're various like finger placements that you can do, hand gestures that you can do. If you look up like meditation hand gestures, you'll be able to find what I'm talking about. But each one has different benefits, whether it be more conscious awareness, more body awareness, healing, stuff like that. So there's different hand gestures that you can do while you're meditating. But if you don't want to do that, you can just sit your hands on your knees and then close your eyes. I prefer to have my eyes closed. Some people prefer to have them open. I find that distracting, so I like to close my eyes. If you do have your eyes open, make sure that they are barely open and you are looking towards the floor. Once you have your placement, eyes are closed, and then your entire goal is to be able to take deep breaths. Make sure you are breathing from your belly. This is your diaphragm into this area. Diaphragm's like sort of like where your stomach and your chest meet. But the whole goal is to just feel your stomach lift, rise, and then go down. So that is how you know you are breathing properly. So you want to be taking deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, or just in through the nose and out through the nose, taking deep breaths. And what I like to do is I like to count my breaths. So I will count up to 10, and then once I make it to 10, restart. And whenever I do not make it to 10 because a thought came into my head, I do not judge that. I just look at it. Remember, do not judge the cars as they pass, just be aware of them. So as a thought comes into my head, I'll go, oh, okay, that's interesting, thought about groceries. And then I'll go right back to my breath. Nope. 1, 2, 3. So obviously I'm not counting out loud, I'm counting inside of my head, and I'm bringing all awareness to my stomach. You will notice that after you do this for a while, you will reach states of awareness where you no longer, you reach states of no thoughts, as Eckhart Tolle would say. You are literally not thinking, you are not even counting your breath, you are in a state of complete presence in the moment. You have completely abandoned all thoughts. You have entered a state where you are breathing very deeply, and it's honestly a state of like tranquility and peace and happiness. So that is why you should meditate and how to meditate. Hopefully this video was helpful and easy to understand. If you would like anything else about meditation talked about on this channel, go ahead and leave a comment below. Let me know your experience with meditating. If you got a lot of value out of this video, I would ask that you like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and until next time, peace.